Top 10 mistakes that beginner sourdough bakers make, okay? Stop laughing. Number one is gonna be poor shaping. Shaping isn't about making your dough look pretty. It's about giving your dough the tension and structure so that it can reach maximum rise potential in the oven. Oftentimes beginners don't shape their dough tight enough, and it will just fall flat and kind of just spread out by the time it gets to the oven. Or on the flip side, way too tight, way too rough with it at that stage of the process and end up tearing the dough, okay? So it's just really about finding that nice little balance. Tight enough, but not too tight where it's gonna rip and tear. Once your dough has gone through all that long bulk fermentation and built up all these beautiful gases and bubbles and is airy and jiggly, you can definitely overwork the dough and be too rough with it at this stage. It really is a two-step process. So the first one is the pre-shaping, okay? So it goes, which is this, it's been fermenting for 5+ hours. You dump the dough out. It's just a messy ball of dough. So you wanna provide it with a little bit of tension and structure, let it rest, and then come back for the final shaping so that it will hold a lot more tightness and structure before we put it in our Banneton to go for a long cold ferment. So do not skip the pre-shape. So let's do the pre-shape first. Into a little bit of a triangle shape here. I just dumped my dough out. I have a couple different here, but I'm gonna do what's called the letter fold. A square or rectangle shape here. And I'm just going to, again, be gentle with it at this point because we're not trying to degas it. Top is gonna be folded halfway down to meet the middle. The bottom half is going to go over that top half into a little bit of an envelope shape. Then I'm going to turn it so it faces towards me, and then I'm going to gently pull and roll it. Just roll it into a little bit of a log, and as I'm pulling, I'm not squeezing the dough and degassing it. I'm just gently, a little bit of tension with each little roll that I make, but I'm also not squeezing the gas out of it. So just gentle with a little bit of tension, and then you can kind of roll it around and just turn it into a little ball shape. But that's it. I have a little bit of surface tension here, and I'm just gonna let it rest. Sitting on the counter that has been pre-shaped, and I'm gonna leave them uncovered just so that they can develop an ever so slight little skin in the next 15 minutes to make it a little bit more of a non-stick surface. 15 minutes just sitting here resting uncovered, and now we are gonna do the final shape. Okay, now there's many methods, many different ways to shape your dough, and everybody likes a different. So this is just what I like to do. It works really easy and it works best for me. So this is what I do, and this is what I teach in my classes. You can try it. If you don't like it, you can try another method, but this is just my go-to easy one. So I've already done the pre-shape. It's just sitting here, and I'm going to put it on my surface with a tiny bit of flour, and I'm going to flip it over. So the top, I'm going to grab it. The top is now going to become the bottom. So I'm just going to gently flip it over on my surface. Now I'm going to do what's called the caddy clasp, okay? Wayne Caddy is the one who, the genius baker who discovered and invented this method, and it's really simple, really quick, really easy, uncomplicated, and it just provides a really good structure in a really fast way. So, and flipped it over, I'm literally going to do 2 folds, okay? One, and I'm not squeezing it from the middle, I'm just pinching the top, so I'm just 2 sides, okay? And then I have a little taco, so you can see my little taco. Then I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to do the exact same thing and fold it again and pinch at the top. I'm not pinching in the middle, just at the top, and then again at the 2 edges. And again, I am not squeezing the middle, just the edges to seal them back together. And that's it. I'm going to put them in my prepared lined Banneton, and that is it. A perfectly fast, easy shaping method that has very tight structure without being too tight, so that it holds a nice shape and it doesn't fall flat by the time I get it in the oven. I'm going to do it again so you can see. And you really don't want to put a lot of flour on your surface, because if you do, the dough is just going to become non-stick and it won't seal back together. So I normally just have a little thing here with water, and I honestly just use water. I don't even use flour. And because you let it sit, it created a little bit of a skin on top to make it a little bit of a non-stick. So it's honestly better with no flour. Okay, so the top's going to become the bottom. Gently flip it over, and I'm going to do 2 clasps. One, seal it at the top, hold it for a few minutes, seal it at the top. Okay, flip it, go the other side. Now I have my little taco here, and then I'm going to fold it again, seal it at the top. That's my last fold, but I'm gonna pinch it here on the edges. And if it doesn't seal, you can just put it in your Banneton, let it sit for 10 minutes, and then go back in. And one more time at a better angle, the top flips over. 1, 2. And I just have this nice little surface tension. You can see it's not really falling flat. Get it straight into my bowl. And now it's ready to go in the fridge for a long cold ferment. That literally took 2 seconds to do that shaping. So, it's my go-to.